Hi everyone, welcome back to another video where I analyze the cast of the Ultimatum Queer Love on Netflix. So in this video, I'm going to focus on Xander and her relationships with Vanessa and Yoly. So the usual disclaimers, I've seen the finale and the reunion, so spoiler alert. And I do understand that it is an edited TV show. I'm only analyzing these people based on what we've been shown. I do not claim to know these people fully. Furthermore to that, I thought I'd say that I'm only commenting on their behavior and decisions at a particular time point in their lives. I believe that everyone is capable of learning and growing if they choose to. So I found Xander to be very interesting because she is someone who is very easy to love and feel very protective over. It's so easy for us as the audience to blame all the problems of her relationship on the more kind of overt villain, Vanessa. But the saying does go that you are the company you keep. So then you have to really question Xander, who has been able and willing to be in a relationship with someone like Vanessa for 4 years.
She just seems to be into herself and making everything about herself. She's like a narcissist. The Jason Xander, who felt a lot more like honest.
Do you feel like you're more secure about why Xander's here? Obviously, they're a couple. Sorry if I've...
Yeah.
I felt that Xander and Vanessa's dynamic at the start of the show is very much like the stereotype pattern between an abusive narcissist and their enabler. So before I go on, let's put aside the label of a narcissist. I'm not diagnosing or labeling anyone. However, my point is that anyone exhibiting narcissistic traits, they cannot survive in the world on their own. They need someone to put up with them to reinforce their delusions about themselves. And the enabler comes in and puts up with them for a variety of reasons. It could be low self-esteem. It could be familiar dynamic that they've grown up with a parent or other family members. It could also be gaining a weird sense of pride in themselves because they feel only they can understand this person with narcissistic traits. Only I can get through to them. And it's sort of a similar dynamic with the Saviour complex, except that the Saviour puts themselves above the other person with the thought of you can learn from me, whereas the enabler is more thinking I understand you and only I can. I feel the trouble is that our society also reinforces this notion of what romantic love is. We kind of expect it to be an emotional roller coaster. It's like drama equals passion equals the one. And religious influences to society have also created this notion that true love is unconditional, which means I will love you no matter what. And unconditional, by definition, means no boundaries. And no boundaries is not healthy. I feel that Xander at the start of the show had this mentality. She alternates between covertly playing victim.
My ex would have her own kids, and then I would have my own kids.
No, it wouldn't be, this is my kid because I technically birthed it. That's just so weird. You're in this journey together. I'm sorry if someone's like said something opposite. Like that sucks. Like that's not a cool place to be at.
And attracting other people to protect her and speak up for her.
Xander, you have a huge heart and you're so kind and so willing to give. And I've shared with you that I get very protective of people with big hearts. Just because I can see people in the world like taking advantage of it or seeing it as a weakness even, and I get very protective of stuff like that.
Appreciate that. I love that.
And then she alternates and becomes Vanessa's hero when people are trying to take Vanessa down on Xander's behalf.
Please accept this apology and know that regardless of my views on marriage, which, surprise, have changed since I got here, I have valued absolutely all of your views on the subject.
I think that your apology is performative. So I just hope that you don't expect people to just brush it under the rug, not that you said sorry.
do you want to hear apologies from Vanessa? No, like duh, doesn't make sense. But like leave that little piece of openness in your heart, everyone, to like allow for there to be growth here in general.
The enabler is arguably as toxic as the person with narcissistic traits, because the overcompromising, the lack of boundaries, the sugarcoating of the truth, all this means that the person with narcissistic traits is never challenged. They never have to feel bad enough to do any self-reflection or self-work. Xander's padded room kept Vanessa's childlike belief of grandiosity, delusions of self-importance. It made her remain a child. And we need to recognize that that's sort of the soft power that Xander wields. On some level, she knows that no one else can put up with Vanessa. And so in a funny way, both Vanessa and Xander started out with a sense of security that no one else would want their partner.
I think genuinely that you came into this process thinking that there was about a 0.001% chance that Xander would have any sort of connections with other people.
I don't really want everyone to antagonize Vanessa because
we understand because that's the person that you've been with for 4 years.
It doesn't matter if that's the person I've been with for 4 years or for 10 years, but she's someone that no one else understands except for me, and like that's why I love her.
From my experience, I've worked with a lot of clients that are like Xander in all their relationships, be it romantic, family, friendships, or work. And the main issue is that one of their dominant functions, called FE, extraverted feeling, is too short-term looking. So FE, extraverted feeling, essentially wants social harmony. It wants to respond to people emotionally, and it wants to not upset anybody. However, short-term harmony does not let people grow. It overprotects people from confronting the truth, which is another function they have, a lower function called TI, introverted thinking. Short-term harmony sacrifices the harsh truths that need to be told and addressed, whereas long-term harmony is reaching a true consensus, true harmony in a relationship, which is actual understanding between the two people, where real feedback is shared by both sides, conflicts allowed to surface, differences are discussed, and then a consensus is reached. Long-term harmony requires some truth-telling, even if it's upsetting to hear. The balance that I would advise to reach is to tell the truth in a supportive and compassionate way.
You're a huge part of me, and I'm so thankful for that. I know that I've dreamt about proposing to you before. In all of those dreams, it was with us both feeling a lot more confident and secure in our decision. And I feel like that's not where we're at right now, which sucks. And you deserve a lot more than what I can offer you right now.
And before I sound like I'm judging Xander too harshly, there are actually plenty of good reasons why Xander felt so bonded to Vanessa. Firstly, Xander and Vanessa go way back, like since they were teenagers.
Vanessa and I met when we were seniors in high school, and our boyfriends were best friends.
Vanessa was one of the first people that Xander came out to, and the only relationship she's had since coming out.
Fast forward 5 years.
I went to a taco truck.
First, I asked if she was still dating her very long-term boyfriend, and then my follow-up question, are you gay?
I had not come out to anyone except for my best friend. So I guess I felt comfortable enough. Yes, I am.
The old photo shown of Xander and Vanessa tells you visually how much Xander has changed over the years. It's a snapshot of Xander's journey of identity, coming out in terms of her sexuality and coming out in terms of her gender identity. And all this time, Vanessa was by her side, helping her through this transition and helping her create her current identity. In terms of their personality types, Xander and Vanessa are completely complementary in that respect because they are shadows. So your shadow is the personality type that has all your opposite functions that are complementary in the exact same order. So it's someone who you have instant compatibility as well as high chemistry with. Xander has extroverted feeling, FE, and FE types need to make references outside of themselves in terms of feelings, values, identity in order to create and be confident in their own feelings and their own values. Xander's FE feeds off of Vanessa's FI, introverted feeling, her self-generated source of feelings and values and the ability and confidence to express them. Vanessa's SE, extroverted sensing, would also push Xander to boldly try out new experiences and experiment with new identities. SE hero being the top function, has a very just do it sort of mentality, whereas Xander on her own with SI, introverted sensing hero, would be a lot more reluctant and conservative to veer away from what she and those around her have always been used to. So despite the other toxic dynamics that Xander and Vanessa may have had, Vanessa is arguably instrumental in Xander's early years as a queer person, and no one can take that special bond away from them. Another point to make is that actually all of Xander's functions in her personality stack make it very hard for her to separate from Vanessa. If we go from the top, SI, introverted sensing, is a post-processing function. It needs a lot of time to process events. And also, SI dominant types value things and relationships that have endured the test of time. The longer the relationship, the harder to leave. FE, parent being the second function in our stack, comes with the feeling of obligation to prioritize other people over themselves. FE also absorbs Vanessa's FI values, so Xander would start to believe in Vanessa's assessment of her own worth. TI, introverted thinking, child function, as in the third position, wants to keep understanding a situation. It wants to keep digging, whilst TE, extroverted thinking, blind spot, does not want to conclude. And then lastly, NE, extroverted intuition, inferior function, is terrified of exploring the possibilities that Vanessa may have bad intentions, the possibilities that there's someone else better suited to her than Vanessa.
Commit to it.
I kind of don't want to do this anymore. Let's just be together.
I know, but that wouldn't solve anything. You know, like that brings us right back to where we are right now, where you want to get married and I don't.
I know, but I don't want to.
Given that strong bond and history between Xander and Vanessa, Xander fell for Yoly pretty quickly. And this is because Yoly understands and mentors Xander's emotions. Yoly shares all of Xander's values and goals of long-term commitment, marriage, and children. They also share the same experience coming onto the show, being the people who gave the ultimatum. They are both ready for marriage and both feel rejected by their non-committal partners. Yoly, with her FI introverted feeling, is able to validate Xander's feelings and values, as well as verbalize what Xander is emotionally going through, helping Xander feel more confident and clear about what she's feeling. Yoly's FI is basically telling Xander that you are worthy, your feelings are valid, what you want in life is valid.
I think you just care. You just care about how I feel and what I need. Thank you.
Versus Vanessa's FI, which tells Xander the complete opposite. And this is how FE and FI interact when they are in harmony. Yoly also knows that Vanessa doesn't look after Xander and attacks Vanessa with this.
I know you want to talk about it privately, but I feel like a fool if I were to enter into 3 weeks with you if you would prefer to not be with me.
Vanessa, this person that you love, that you say you want to marry, they're going through something. Can you observe that without making it about yourself?
So what are the main factors that sealed the deal for Xander to leave Vanessa and go for Yoly? I mentioned that FE, extroverted feeling types, need to first make reference outside of themselves in order to formulate and be confident in their own feelings and values. So I think what tipped the balance in Yoly's favor are the opinions of Xander's peer group, namely her best friend.
I can tell you're genuine, and that's something that I think I have struggled with Vanessa for the longest time. It's just been hard. Not saying I fully dislike her, but like when Vanessa gets in situations where she is not in a comfort zone, she acts up, she puts on a show, kind of me. I don't know, it's just nice, it's refreshing. To me, it just seems natural.
And also Vanessa's own father, who gave a double warning on his own daughter.
It's undeniable that a part of that is you don't want to lose Xander.
There's a
right?
part, but I can tell you that's not the dominant.
No, but it has to be there. And I'll tell you, I've been a victim of this where someone's pulling away from you and you want to win them back because you want to be chosen, right? Certainly, I guess what I'm hearing is Xander progressed more with a self-analysis and really trying to figure out what do I want and what's going to make me happy.
Yeah.
So
I disagree with that.
In the end, FE looks for social harmony. It wants everyone to be on the same page. So it values the majority opinion in order to better relate to the majority. Another factor is that we need to understand why Vanessa's change was not enough. To do this, we need to understand Xander's top function, introverted sensing SI hero, and how that operates, which explains why Vanessa's 180 turn on marriage was too little too late. So SI, introverted sensing, is a post-processing function. It takes time to process events and their experiences after the fact. And then once the function SI has processed these events and experiences, it stores that memory somewhere in their mind, and they can retrieve that memory whenever they want or whenever a similar event triggers that memory and look at the event again and draw new meaning from it. This means that SI tends to remember everything that they've experienced, albeit their subjective perception of those events. So with SI hero, as in the top function, Xander remembers everything about Vanessa, all her patterns over the last 4 years, what she tends to do, tends to say, think, and feel.
It was just surprising for me hearing that you open up so much about certain things. I'm like, yes, you wanted kids, but it was never with me.
Well, I know, babe, but I want to. I want this now, and I'm sorry that I didn't have it in me before, but since you didn't try to delve into it, I didn't want to delve into it.
But I did. How did I not try and delve into it? I feel like year after year, I would bring it up.
So Vanessa's sudden change in attitude towards commitment and marriage would more so stick out like a sore thumb among the rest of Xander's memory of her.
To hear now that you want this, it's I don't know what to even do with that information. The words that I'm finally hearing that I've wanted to hear for so long, they sit lower than I thought they were going to.
My observation is that people with SI, introverted sensing hero, do not trust sudden changes of any sort, even if it's change for the better. Any sudden change, even if Vanessa claims that it's because she's learned a lot from this process, is seen as a red flag, requiring more inspection. Vanessa's revelation to want to marry Xander is too good to be true because it's not consistent with her previous behavior. Lastly, I felt that Xander had the biggest transformation over the course of the show because the show has forced her to do something that she couldn't have done herself, which is to break away temporarily from Vanessa, a 4-year relationship, and gain new experiences of love and intimacy with someone else. In addition, the release of the show also gave Xander a 360 documentation of herself and everyone else's point of view. It helped helps her SI, introverted sensing, post-processing. And again, my observation is that if your top function, your hero function is sensing, they are the most observant and draw the most accurate projections when they have a lot of concrete evidence available to them, when they can see, hear, and experience everything tangibly.
I realized I was putting so much focus and so much attention on like the outcome and getting married and having the family and like, but then what? I don't know, something in me was like, you left that experiment saying that you were gonna choose yourself and that you were gonna like learn how to love yourself. And like, I feel like it was just so obvious watching myself during those episodes that I struggled so deeply with that.
Watching the show again, Xander finally has an objective assessment of the real Vanessa, the real Yoly, and the real Xander, how she herself behaves in relationships. The show basically gave her SE, extraverted sensing, the objective recording of events, versus what Xander has, which is SI, which is the subjective account of events. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful or interesting, then please do share it with someone, as well as like and subscribe. And if you wanted us to analyze and figure out your personality type and explore how that affects your decision making, communication, and relationships with others, please find booking details in the description box below.